Hey, this is Joshua with New Review coming at you with a new review on the Freeform series, The Fosters. The Fosters follows Steph and Lena Adams Foster, a same-sex female couple who are heads of a mixed family, featuring Brandon Foster, the bio son of Steph, uh, Jesus and Mariana Adams, who are the first two adopted children, and also fraternal twins because one's a guy, one's a girl. And the new additions of Jude and Callie, who are recently adopted children and are the whole, and Callie's the whole impetus of the show starting. The series is, I'm pretty sure, a first featuring a lesbian couple as the primary parents, which I think is a really interesting thing to look at because you don't really get a lot of that as a main characters in a lot of TV series. This series started back in 2013, and it is on its fifth season. ABC Family does and Freeform, which turned into do a weird thing with how they do their seasons. Um, but it's on its fifth season, and it follows a lot of storylines dealing with race, adoption, uh, and gender identity and the criminal justice system and the foster care system, which I think are storylines that we don't really see focused on heavily on most other media sources, which I think is a really good way to talk about these issues in conjunction, because the foster system is something that really does, as the series has pointed out, need reform. Now this series focuses specifically on in San Diego, California, and the foster system there, as well as a lot of the issues that are there. And an interesting part of this is Steph, one of the two moms, is a cop, and so it takes another perspective to add into this. Steph was also confused, which is why she has a son. She used to be married, and her son was a product of that marriage. Um, Another interesting part of the characters is that Mariana and Jesus are both the children of addicts, and that is an interesting avenue that they have also taken to explore. We've learned a lot about their birth mom, their birth dad, um, and the exploration of the mom is kind of hitting its zenith on what they can do. But now that they've introduced the birth dad, that's kind of adding to the layers of story they can tell. And I really do like that they're kind of expanding the cast of, if not main, but main recurring, if that makes sense. Which I think is a really good way to explore these characters and try to understand them. They did that a lot earlier with Jude and Callie, because Jude and Callie have the same mom but different dads, and they've done a lot of exploring on Callie's relationship with her birth father, who apparently turns out to be a rich dude. And another part of this series is the idea, what the idea of family is. Obviously, it's a mixed family with adopted children, bio children, a stepmom technically for Brandon. Um, and since Brandon's dad is the main character in the series, I'm not sure if he's still on. He hasn't been on the fifth season yet. Um, Not only is Brandon's father, whose name is Mike Foster, he's in there. He's part of the parenting. Callie's dad does pop in every so often to do some parenting, and now that they've introduced both of the twins' bio parents, they've added that in. Um, there have been a couple actor changes. One was Jesus. Originally, he was played by Jake T. Austin, and now he's played by an actor named Noah Centineo. And I really think Noah's done a really good job adding to the character. especially with the storyline of him having a traumatic brain injury, which I think is a very interesting step to kind of explore with mental illness and brain injuries and how that can affect people and families. Uh, right now, things seem to be fairly stable with the family itself. A lot of the storylines have been the conflicts with the family, Callie and her issues with love and affection, and uh, her past. A lot of main storylines have been focused on those things, um, and everyone seems to be fairly stable right now. The main drama seems to be about the education system, which is a new thing that's coming in, and I think it's very timely given who we have as the Secretary of the Department of Education, and her pro privatization. And right now, the school that they're at is going through a privatization fight. Um, and part of this privatization fight it started with uh, sex ed, specifically geared towards those who are LGBTQ, which is another important thing that I think needs to be explored, given that it's a controversial topic currently in our political and educational system. So, again, a lot of the storylines that they choose to talk about are very timely, and very thought provoking. And I think that's something that this show does very well. It create starts its intention to create a dialogue about big important issues is, I think, very well done with the writing and the acting and the directing. Um, and this season so far has been very interesting with focusing on the education system and the and of course the love lives of these kids. Being a show about teenagers is going to happen. Um, but what I really like about this show, why I continue to watch, is are these big stories that they talk about, and I really do like the acting. The woman who plays Steph, she was also known for acting in the Meet the Fockers or Meet the Parents trilogy. She was Terry Polo played Pam Burns, and she was very good in that trilogy. And I think this is another way for her to show her acting chops. So yeah, that is my review and breakdown of the Fosters so far. There'll be more specific episode reviews in the near future. This is part of the breakdown series. Um, this is Joshua with New Review signing off.